Let's talk about a feeling that I bet every single one of us knows all too well. It's that feeling of being completely, utterly stuck. It's like this invisible force that can hold you back in your job, in your relationships, in your whole life. But today, we're going to talk about how to break free. I'm stuck. I mean, how many times have you said that, or at least felt it? You're in that job that's going nowhere, or a relationship that just isn't right anymore, or you just feel like your life is on pause. You know something has to change, but that fear of making the wrong move, it just keeps you frozen right where you are. But hang on a second. What if we're all afraid of the wrong thing? What if this obsession we have with finding the one single perfect choice is actually the trap? Let's dig into that, because the real danger, well, it might be hiding in plain sight. And that brings us right to the heart of the problem. Because you know what? The real enemy isn't making a mistake. It's the slow, quiet damage that happens when you do nothing at all. Okay, let's just break this down. On one side, you make a wrong decision. What happens? Well, you get feedback fast. You learn something, you get a chance to pivot, and you grow. But what about making no decision? That's just stagnation. See, our brains hate uncertainty, so just sitting there doesn't bring peace. It just cranks up the anxiety. And in the end, it's the chances we didn't take that lead to the only kind of regret that's 100% guaranteed. You know, this actually reminds me of a crazy story about General Norman Schwarzkopf. He once talked about a time when a major strategic decision at the Pentagon was just stuck for over 10 years. The arguments on both sides were so convincing that nobody was willing to pull the trigger. So finally, a general steps in. He listens to both arguments for about 20 minutes each and just makes a call right there. And when a young Schwarzkopf asked him, how could you possibly know which one was right? The general's answer was just brilliant. He basically said, a decision had to be made. If it's the wrong one, we'll find out faster and we can fix it. Staying put was the only way to guarantee failure. And that idea is more important today than ever before. I mean, get this. Some studies show we're bombarded with the equivalent of 72 gigabytes of data every single day. All that noise just feeds what they call analysis paralysis, that feeling that you just never have enough information to make the right choice, so you make no choice. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? We think more information is the key to a better choice, but really, we're just drowning in it. It's actually stopping us from getting the wisdom that only comes from taking action. So, how do we finally break free from this cycle? The way out isn't about finding more data. It's about completely changing our approach. And it all starts with a huge mindset shift. It's about really understanding what a decision actually is. The answer is actually hidden right inside the word itself. Decision comes from the Latin root incision, which literally means to cut off. So a real decision isn't just about picking something. It's about cutting all the other possibilities. It's like burning the boats behind you, so your brain has no choice but to move forward. You see, a real life-changing decision isn't just a single moment. It's a process. It's a journey made of 3 parts. It starts with a choice. Then it gets stronger through commitment. And finally, it becomes this unshakable resolve. And here's the crucial part. This is where most people get it wrong. They stop at step 1. They decide to get in shape, but they don't immediately do something about it. They never get to commitment. That's forcing yourself to the gym in week 3 when you're tired and you just don't feel like it. And very few people ever reach resolve. That's that incredible state of peace where it's just done. You're not trying to be a healthy person anymore. You just are one. All the fear and anxiety about it just disappears. Okay, so now that we have that new way of thinking locked in, let's get really practical. Here is a step-by-step blueprint you can literally use for any big decision without all the usual stress and overwhelm. This is the OOCEMR framework. Instead of just letting your thoughts spiral out of control, you slow down and you get it all out on paper. You start with the outcome, what you actually want, not what you're afraid of. Then you list your options, and you gotta have at least 3. You look at the consequences, both good and bad. And then, this part is key, you evaluate the real probability of those things happening. You figure out how to mitigate the risks, and finally, you resolve a clear path forward. The real power of this whole thing comes down to these core ideas. It shifts you from thinking about fear to thinking about what you want to create. It gets the problem out of your head so you can see it clearly. It pushes you past that simple this or that trap. And it uses logic to shut down all those irrational fears that keep us stuck. Basically, structure is the perfect cure for the chaos of overthinking. Okay, so we've got the mindset and we've got a practical method. Now for the most important part. How do you go from just understanding these ideas to actually living them? Well, you do it by building your decision-making muscle. And yeah, it's just like a muscle. This isn't some talent you're born with. It's a skill that gets stronger every time you use it. I mean, think about it. If you can't even decide what to have for dinner, how are you going to decide what to do with your life? Start small. Make little decisions quickly and consistently. That momentum is what gets you ready for the big ones. And here's why this is so important. Real self-esteem isn't something someone gives you. It's something you earn, by yourself, for yourself. It comes from making yourself do the hard things you know you need to do. Every single tough decision you follow through on builds this genuine, rock-solid sense of self-worth and control over your own life. So I'm going to leave you with a challenge. Not for tomorrow, not for next week, for right now. What is one decision, big or small, that you have been avoiding? What's one thing you can decide on, commit to, and take one tiny action on the second this is over? Because at the end of the day, your circumstances don't define your life. Your decisions do. It's like the quote says, your entire destiny is shaped in these moments. The real power isn't in waiting for the perfect path to appear. It's in creating it, one choice at a time.